Welcome back to MetaMinds. It has recently occurred to us that we haven't actually made an introduction video about Dan and myself. And by recently occurred, I mean a few people have pointed it out to us. Luckily, we have those people in our audience.
Thanks for that.
So yeah, a few people that don't actually know us, it will definitely be beneficial for us to, I guess, talk about how we got to this situation, why we're making MetaMinds, and a couple of these motivational things. So we've got a couple of questions that have been submitted to us, but also a couple of questions that we wrote up that we think is important. So with that, I guess we'll get started. Dan, why did we start MetaMinds, mate?
Well, it was one of those things that was kind of always kind of building up inside of us. We always had these dope chats. We always felt like we kind of wanted to vent to the world and have something that we could share with people and hopefully improve people's lives. But it was always just kind of something we were discussing and something that we were holding off on for whatever reason. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, we just kind of decided, why aren't we doing this? We sat down, had another deep chat, spoke about, I guess, the logistics of how we would do it, how we wanted to ensure that we had enough content so that we didn't slow down, and to ensure that that would motivate us to keep producing. And then we kind of just came to the agreement on the name. That was actually a funny process, sitting down and thinking about the name.
What was the original one? It was something to do with
It was something pretty clean that I liked. I can't even think of what it was now.
Mastermind or something. Oh, no.
Yeah, I might have.
I don't even know. I think it was something to do with MM though, maybe.
It was an MM
something to do with
thing.
mind. Like mindful media or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but we finally came to MetaMinds, which
it is
I'm very happy with.
A bit of a funny story, and now we can kind of link this to podcast guests, because like they ask us, why did we start MetaMinds? And then we tell them that, for those of you that can't see, there's two couches here that Dan and I sit on. Most of our lives basically just sit around and talking as if we know everything that's going on in the world, and we're like, why don't we just turn this into a podcast? We've been talking about making a podcast for years. And then, within about a week, we kind of flipped around the idea and actually executed it. And we had made like 4 or so episodes before we even uploaded it.
Yeah, we did,
here we are doing it. And we're at least up to about 10 episodes now or so. It's going well.
And I'm glad that we did that. So we made sure that we had a few backed up, because I think we filmed 2 the first night.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It was actually intense to shoot.
Yeah.
We're like, it's all good. We'll just crush like 4 out in one row.
And I think we were going to do 3, but like after 2, we were kind of a bit cloudy. We were like, what are we actually talking about anymore? Yeah, so that was cool. But it was good to actually have that content backed up. And at this point, we still have, like you said, a few backed up. So we can keep on top of it, even if something comes up in life. So
because we're both very busy chaps, aren't we, man?
Yeah. So that was kind of how MetaMinds came about.
That's the story, guys.
It's as simple as that. It sounds simple, but it was a process that we've been talking about for years.
Yeah.
I guess let's move on to
we got this pretty cool logo popping as well.
And
so
this is from
Animated
Joey.
Dan and Animated Eamon. So shout out
from RoboJoey, robojoey.com.
if you need designs for your MetaMinds podcast.
He does some really amazing stuff.
So
don't
steal
wear
MetaMinds.
Yeah.
Please. It's the only good idea we've ever had. Come on as a guest. Anyway.
Let's move on to maybe getting to know us.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our journey maybe. Did you want to start?
I mean, I guess so. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, all right. I mean, for those that don't know, I run a video production company full time.
Yep.
And how I got to that position was essentially, it started out in school, obviously. They luckily offered a video and media kind of class, and I jumped in that. And because I was a creative kid, loved doing drama, loved doing all these kinds of stuff. I was about to say dance, but it was actually drama in the dance hall.
Okay.
I'm glad I just remembered. I was like, man, I did dance, and I was like, no way, that's not it. Anyway,
maybe that'll be a future episode we could try.
Yeah,
let's just dance. Anyway,
so did really well in my film classes in school, and so from there progressed, jumped out of that, got a pretty decent qualification, OP it's called in Australia, and then got into film school, which is just in South Bank in our city. Did that for 3 years, and then jumped out of it, and I was like, stuff this, there's no jobs in the industry, and then went traveling to South America for 6 months. Which is fantastic and a huge developmental part of my life. But it's kind of interesting that it's kind of come full circle, and that I jumped out of a film degree, not really knowing what I wanted to do with my life and who I was, because obviously I was very young then. And to those listening that are coming out of school or whatever, I absolutely would recommend to take a year off before you jump into a uni degree. Because, I don't regret it, because I've met so many amazing people through that, and I know those people today. But I think if I could go back and maybe just take an extra year to mature, and this is obviously not relevant to everyone, kind of find myself and do something random, I definitely would have done that. Anyway, that's a sidebar. And yeah, so I worked in sales for a couple of years at a major corporation here in Brisbane. And yeah, I've done a couple of random off jobs to help kind of develop myself. And yeah, I stumbled upon this thing that I'm now doing full time, which is Nomia Media, for those that want to check that out.
Yep.
Make videos for small to medium sized businesses to help them grow. But who knows where my path will go next, really. That's a brief summary of how I got to where I am today.
Yep.
What about you, mate?
Yeah, very nice. Well, pulling it back to Mr. Joey, Robo Joey, my YouTube career started with him. Him and myself actually made video game reviews. So we used to review like Rainbow Six, I think at the time. We reviewed like, I think a Halo game and a few other random games.
I'm going to check those out.
You should definitely check them out. Actually, I think the channel's down now, but the previous channel was called Enthusiastic Gamers XP.
I didn't even know that, man.
That was a thing. And then that kind of dissolved. I think I deleted the channel. But that was something I started with Joey. And then Joey went on to do more design stuff. And I decided I would continue doing the YouTube thing. Didn't really have a place in school, had a few friends, but the YouTube thing was the thing that kind of made me feel fulfilled and gave me something to work on or work towards. So that's kind of where it started. And then I decided because I didn't go for an OP through school. I just never knew what I wanted to do. I was kind of going down the IT route and I was kind of thinking like, do I want to do web development? Is that something that interests me? I was kind of into it and I did like a TAFE course, a diploma in web development. And it just didn't stand out to me as something I could do for like 40 plus years as a full-time job. So I just didn't pursue that anymore. Like I finished up and at that point I decided working with people was what I wanted to do. So went into psychology and now I'm doing my counseling.
So it was a 4-year psychology degree?
It was, 3 years. 3 years.
3 years?
3 years. But it probably was 4 years because I had to spread it out with the IT degree I was doing as well. Yeah. It was a whole thing. But now I'm in my final year of the Masters of Counseling, working in a clinic at the moment with like 7 other people, and we work with clients every week. And that's kind of where I'm at now in my career.
And you're also a social worker? Is that what the
I do a support worker as well, which is working with clients one-on-one. They have mental health issues or illnesses, however you want to say it.
Don't we all?
Yeah, we do for sure. So that's kind of where I am career-wise. And then the YouTube thing was always just a bit of a hobby, and I just slowly added and tried to improve, get better equipment, work with different people. And yeah, I've kind of carved a little bit of a niche now in the drone space and in the tech space. But that's kind of me, I guess. That's kind of where I'm at now, yeah. And then the MetaMind thing is just another exciting avenue for me to like express myself and explore like this interview style and really take myself out of my comfort zone as well. It's a whole new experience. Like, I've had some messages from people just being like, man, how do you become this internet presenter type person? And I'm like, I get like, I didn't even picture it to be that, but I suppose that is what it is. Cause here we are like doing this camera thing. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, I guess I didn't realize that it was an uncomfortable position until I was kind of in it, you know? I was like, let's just do that thing cause it's fun and natural to us or whatever. But now I'm realizing it's actually a challenge and it like helps put yourself out there and it helps you speak, you know, especially when you have guests, like as silly as that sounds, it's like holding conversation and keeping things flowing. It's like, it's a good developmental process. It's a skill to learn. Yeah. But the main thing is like we do it because we want to kind of help other people. You know, there may not be anyone that, you know, everyone might be more knowledgeable than us, but if there's one person out there that listens to our podcast and goes, that changed, that's it. Which has already happened, which we're extremely grateful for. Fantastic. Some of the responses we've had already. That's what keeps us going, really. So, for sure. Yeah. No, it's amazing to see some of the people we've connected with all over the world already, which is really exciting. And some of our guests as well. Yeah. I'm very excited to release some of the new episodes as well. Yeah. And there's a lot coming. So it's very exciting. And it's probably taken off faster than I thought in terms of like the flow that we've got into. And it's exciting because me, when it comes to like public speaking and presenting myself in front of people, it's always a bit of a touchy area. Like I'm not extremely comfortable in that situation, but we're sitting in front of a camera with potentially, you know, hundreds of people seeing us with these big bright lights in our face. And like you said, it is something that people struggle with. Like people hate seeing themselves. They hate their own voice. And early on, I didn't like my voice. I just couldn't listen to it, but after time and time again of editing your voice, you just kind of get over it.
Dan's tube 1,200 videos so far.
At that point, I'm just like, I don't care. I just don't want to keep hearing it. Like when people are like, "Oh, I saw you put a video up," and they try to play it in front of me, I'm like, man, I just don't want to listen to it.
That happened to me with a client the other day.
Oh, really?
So show us your best work, and I'm like, I don't really want to do that right now. Like, come on, And I was like, I guess this is my best video. Like, but it is kind of awkward. And the funniest part as well, to build onto that, is that. Everyone, when they see older versions of themselves talking on the internet or whatever it is they're doing, even old photos, like, wow, I was so this was so silly. And while that is a fact, the fact is we're doing this now, and in 20, 30 years, hell, maybe in 1 year, we're going to look back at this and be like, wow, that was so stupid that we were doing. We didn't know all this stuff that we know now. It's unbelievable how silly that was. We look so dumb or whatever it is.
For sure.
That's going to happen regardless. So it's like you either embrace that and go, I don't care, this is who I am right now. And this is what I'm doing right now because this is what I believe right now. And maybe things will change in the future. In fact, generally they do, because this is how you learn, by doing these things and put yourself out there.
Definitely.
Or maybe we will, just be like smoking cigarettes and drinking beer and be like, oh, those dumb metaminds guys, I didn't know what they were doing. So
but at that point we would have sold the name MetaMinds and the business for millions of dollars, mate.
Who knows?
But no, going back to that point of like watching your old content or coming back to your own old content or seeing where you've come from.
Thinking of this, man.
Yeah, someone actually connected with me recently who used to be a fan, and he still has been watching my stuff, but he's just told me he's not as active in the comments. But he's actually been commenting on some of my old videos from like 5-6 years ago. And it's taking me back to that point because I replied to the comment, I watched the video as I'm there. And it's cool to see where I was and also to see like the variation in my accent or how I present or what I'm doing in my videos now. That was really cool. And that actually happened like last night and the night before. So it was only recent.
Like a week ago or so, we were sitting here and what happened? Like we got a comment on one of the videos or something and we looked at it and it was like an old video and both me and you were in it.
With the tearing the wallet.
Tearing the wallet. And I was like, nah, everyone's going to go back and watch it. Anyway, I've got this huge man bun and I'm this small like little kid. I'm like,
completely different.
It wasn't that long ago, but it is interesting because that was only 2 years ago or something. And you look back and you're like, wow, that guy has no idea what he's talking about. Who is he? He's a loser, dude.
Can't even tear a wallet.
Well, it was...
I couldn't either.
You couldn't,
It's actually impossible.
And so, it's very interesting because that's part of this digital climate that never existed not too long ago.
Yeah. So our next question that we have, and it was actually from someone messaged us about this. So they kind of wanted to know what we've overcome to get to this position or what kind of things we've maybe come through and learnt from, potentially. So they just kind of wanted to get some wisdom on how we got to this position. Did you want me to start?
Yeah, I mean,
because I'm already talking, I guess.
Go for it, dude.
So I kind of alluded to it a little bit before, but just after school for me, didn't really have like a tight-knit group of people that I really clicked with. And the YouTube thing was a nice release for me to kind of put myself out there and get immediate feedback and kind of connect with people all over the world. And I guess early on, like it was the little jabs that people would make, the little comments about, oh, you're making YouTube videos. And it was kind of that judgment of, well, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to be famous kind of thing? And it never was that for me. Like early on with anyone that starts YouTube, you don't get paid. So it was always just a passion project. And I would get all these comments. I remember ages ago, someone made a comment about, oh, well, what's the point of making the videos? Like your latest video didn't get many views or, you're not doing too well in this area. Like, have you seen this other tech reviewer? And at that point, I remember actually making a little bit of an ego-driven comment. And I said, oh, well, mate, if you look at my total views, I've nearly hit 1 million overall. So where are you sitting in life? And obviously, looking back on it, that's pointless energy for me to be that way.
That's definitely that's your ego's go-to.
That's my ego for sure.
But like everyone, if someone digs at something about you, you're going to be like, what about you?
What about you then? Yeah.
But it's good that you can observe it, I suppose.
But it's something that I try not to do nowadays because it's not realistic to be that way. It's not healthy for yourself anyway. So yeah, like I guess I overcame limiting beliefs on that I had for myself. I overcame people trying to pull me down, the crabs in the bucket trying to pull me down, saying you're not as good as you are, or not as good as you think you are, or whatever. And yeah, it just kind of, I don't know, it did get to me. And it was always something that kind of...
Well, man, in school, I can't imagine, like, you're trying to do anything, let alone, I mean, kids are cruel, man, you know, and you're trying to do something like put out YouTube videos, like, I can imagine everyone would be like on you and be like, what are you doing? Like, that's weird, like, it's just what kids do.
For sure,
so,
for sure. And yeah, I guess even like when it came to like studying IT, like another thing with that, and I'm glad I'm now in the helping space or the counseling space, because with IT, it was always that whole idea around there are so many people doing this. What makes me exceptional, or what makes me different to these other people that are in IT? And I kind of was under the understanding that I would get a job and I could make decent money in IT, but I didn't really have this idea that I could change the world in any way, I guess. And not saying that I think that now, but I mean like helping people within the counseling space. I feel like that, I can help a lot of people that will hopefully make an impact on, their relationships and their lives. And that's something that drives me, especially with the MetaMinds thing, like just knowing that even just a little bit of advice can help someone, or even me just sharing that I've been down in the dumps, because I guarantee any successful person has been through a terrible time.
Oh, mate, yeah.
Multiple times over and over again. Even people who have got millions of dollars, doesn't matter. Yeah, so just one of those things that I guess you have to overcome.
I think it's funny that just had this thought now that when you are actually a counselor, you can kind of go like, if something's happening in that space, you can, actually this one episode of MetaMinds that is my podcast talks exactly about this. You should listen to that.
You should check that
for
out,
your homework, and then that would be
that could be a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, it actually could be. That's kind of funny.
I could say, hey, I've got actually a guest that I kind of want to join in on the session. If that's okay with you, we might record it.
Counseling sessions.
And then we could,
That's actually not a bad idea. It started out as a joke. Now we're here.
Yeah, now we're here. That is a great idea.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Well, in terms of
had to overcome?
In terms of struggles and things that I've had to overcome, I mean, just generally life. Like, and I'm still struggling with it today. I don't want to say that I'm a master of life or my ego or anything like this. I'm just exploring all these topics because I want to learn and grow.
Yep.
But from a young age, it's just like, how deep do you want to go, But
how long have you got?
Well, that's it. We've got 12 minutes to go.
So probably not too deep.
Without getting into the really nitty gritty details, because obviously, and we touched on this in a previous episode, that trauma doesn't necessarily have to be traumatic. It can just be one thing that one adult said to you one time that shapes a whole part of yourself.
Yep.
Anyway, to give you some context, I had like a lot of sense of self issues, like not growing up, but through uni and getting out of uni, it's like, who actually am I and what is it that I want to do? And this isn't unique to me. Everyone has this.
For sure.
And not only people that are just developing, people that, that's a midlife crisis. That's where that term comes from. You get to this point in your life where you're like, I don't know who I am or what I want to do or what I'm valuable anymore. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I've dealt with that quite a bit in my life, and I think I'm much more of a resilient person because I have overcome that. I feel like I've overcome that a bit more than possibly your average person, and so now I'm very grounded in my values, which I'm blessed to be in. Without getting into the whys and how it all kind of happened, went through a lot of disassociating experiences where I lost my sense of self for a while, where I was like almost grounded in the sense of self, and then it disappeared, and then I was all up in the air, and I didn't really know how to talk to people, and I was very like anxious and nervous, and didn't know what was going on. It was confusing times, but it's all part of the fun and learning experiences, and I definitely have grown the most from the most challenging experiences. I can't imagine the rich kid that just gets everything given to him because his problems are he's never had to overcome problems, so it's not actually. They've
never been exposed to
being able to
like that.
So I'm very lucky to have had problems like that. And the other thing is figuring out what I want to do with my entire life. And look, I'm almost 25 now, and it's like so many. It's I guess the common like theme in our society is like, what are you doing with your life? And do you have a girlfriend and a wife? And what's happening with the house situation? And like nice cars, but it's like 4 years old. When are you getting a new car? And
of course,
a lot of these. Just social conventions that aren't actually even real. They're just made up, and especially made up in our heads as well. But they are these like invisible, social conventions that you feel pressured by. So my day-to-day life is literally figuring out, because one day I'll feel like this, and another day I'll feel like this, and again, like this isn't unique to me. Everyone goes through this, but it's like, what is it that I really want to do? And you have to find those values in your life and what drives you. And I guess this is a part of it. This MetaMinds thing, I really do want to help anyone that's gone through any kind of experience like that and potentially can learn from my experience. I suppose that's been my struggle that I've overcome. If people want me to go into more detail about it, like hit us up and we can do a whole podcast on that. But
for sure.
For a brief overview, that's it really.
What
do I do with my life, Dan? We don't
tricky
know,
one.
and this is part of it. We
And
just
it might change.
That's it.
And
It
probably
changes.
will.
It always changes, and this is again the midlife crisis situation.
That's it. But that's the exciting thing about living in this generation, I guess. Like there are so many possibilities that you can change careers and you can travel and you can do whatever you want without really having to be like grounded and set in a house and doing whatever society expects. You literally can explore anything and change careers last minute and get a job that you don't think is maybe related to your degree. I've seen that happen so many times, and they'll get an interesting job that they've got because of who they knew or because of how the interview went or whatever. Like the possibilities are endless if you have that positive attitude, obviously. But also it's not that easy at the same time.
For sure.
Like
but
it
the
is
whole
a grind.
What is my sense of self and what do I do? Like these are things that the ego associates with to keep itself safe. It's like, this is all, associating yourself with anything.
Yeah.
I am a podcaster. That is me associating myself with something which is helpful and necessary for me to do, for me to actually understand. Otherwise it'd just be this like being that walks around like Mr. Burns in The Simpsons. It was like that reference where I'm like, you just be this woke conscious being without a sense of self. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to mention that it's like any of like, it's totally fluid and can change at any moment. And that's kind of what you said, is that you think you're one thing and then you're confused because you're this other thing. It's like, it's because your sense of self changes, and that's what the ego does.
That's it. And potentially your values change.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
who you hang around changes. Yeah, so many factors. You kind of alluded to it before, but the next question we have is what motivates you to do what you do?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, for sure. Like helping people is a huge part of it. And I know it is for you as well. For sure. Counseling thing. Sorry to steal your answer out of your mouth.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
But yeah, I suppose that's it. I mean, I don't know what else.
For definitely for MetaMinds, that's I guess what we've both spoken about. Like we want to help people and leave like a little bit of a impact as such.
And the other thing to build on that is like, and we mentioned it in a previous episode, is that the point of life is to experience consciousness, right? And so if I believe that, then little things like I get up in the morning, I go outside and I like sit in the sun and I have this meditation chair and I just sit, listen to a bit of a podcast, wake up slowly, plan what I'm going to do for the day, or if I've done that the night before. Like the little things really do get me going. Like, and when you do get to be present and when you get to experience things truly like present, that's when you walk out of these experiences being like, I really enjoyed that. And generally it is something that is positive, like helping people or having productive conversations like this, even if it's not productive for anyone but ourselves. Like these are the kinds of things that are fulfilling and people, that you need to kind of find. Did I say anything with that point? I don't even know.
Yeah, I guess you did. I enjoyed it.
Enjoy the little moments.
Enjoy the little moments is what you were getting at. Yeah. And that's something that I guess is probably the hardest thing to learn straight off the bat, like to appreciate little things. And we have had a whole discussion about gratitude, but just trying not to compare yourself. Like if I compared myself early on, and if you did it as well, which we still did, but if we let it consume every thought and if we let it push us down, then we probably might not have pursued really anything.
Mate, yeah.
So like, I mean,
you'd still be sitting on these couches.
Yeah.
I just want to say a funny point that, sorry, we'll get to your answer in a second. Okay. I just remember this. It's very important for those that actually are interested in the story, how we actually met.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Good.
So Dan and I used to play competitive table tennis.
Yes, we did. Quite
competitive and like relatively well.
Yeah, we were good.
And I was like young. I would have been 15 or something.
Yeah, you would have been.
He's a few years older than me, so you would have been 20.
Like, you would have been 84.
Dan's
I would have been like 17 maybe or something.
Yeah. And I walk up to you in this little like square of the table tennis, lining up to get lollies or something. And I was like, "Hi, what's your name?" or something like that. And you're like, "I'm Batman." And that's the story of how I met Dan Davis. We played table tennis for a few years.
That's it.
Anyway, I think it's hilarious.
And I'm pretty sure you had me saved in your phone as Batman.
I still do on my Facebook chat. Your name is Batman.
That's amazing. And there's nothing more to that story.
Batman. Yeah, no, that's it. That's
like the crazy thing is like it was just something I said, didn't mean anything. It was just almost like a troll, and it's kind of just held through the years. Which is weird.
All right, we got 4 minutes.
We've got 4 minutes. Okay, well, that went really quickly. Let's just do this last question, which is basically what MetaMinds plans
what
do
motivates you, mate? You got to say that.
I guess. Yeah. Okay. I kind of touched on most of it. Yeah. Basically, what motivates me is I want to improve myself. I want to continue to improve myself and people around me and surround myself.
I'll steal that for my answer as well.
There you go. We'll rewind and add that to yours. We'll dub my voice on yours. And yeah, just basically that feels amazing, being able to improve myself and people around me. I want to be able to help people through my counseling. And even with my reviews, I love being able to help people before they purchase. Like, it feels great knowing that someone didn't purchase a product because I have shown them how bad it is.
Hashtag GoPro.
Hashtag GoPro. Or other products. But yeah, so that kind of is what motivates me. Normally it's just trying to help people and learn from people, really. All right, let's move on to this. So what MetaMinds plans do we have for the future?
That's a great question.
At this point, when we release this podcast, we would have already had a few more guests that were already pre-recorded on the podcast. So that's really good to see. I'm glad that we've had some amazing guests. We've got a few others backed up, a few others that we have in mind. And I guess, yeah.
These aren't goals. You're just fluffing around, mate.
I'm just fluffing around.
Come on. Get to the deeper.
So what big plans do we have?
Yeah, well, look, we want to, it is kind of funny because we did kind of start on a whim and it's just kind of like, oh, I guess we're doing this now.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think, yeah, we can scale this to a much larger, because podcasts in Australia, there, and especially video, like it's a smaller kind of platform here. There's not many people dominating the market, at least from my point of view. No. Not I'm saying that I want to dominate the market, but like I'm sure that we can scale this to a point where we are actually helping people, and it's much more interactive with guests. You know, people are submitting questions each week. We've got this actionable content, which is great. We're having diverse guests. We're already we've got a few booked in that are huge guests that are actually very diverse. From all different walks of life, and interviewing a whole bunch of different random people. Keep going on the skits. I hope people like the skits, man, because that is really fun. I do like that. And I don't know if there's any mental health or self-development channels on YouTube that make those kind of skits.
I don't think I've seen it.
I think we are in a nice little pocket niche that we can kind of stay in. I guess that's also just fluffing around, really. But
I guess, well, like,
we want to keep doing this. That's the main thing.
We do. That's the main thing, I guess. Like, we want to keep improving. We want to have more diverse guests, and that's it. More actionable content, more of a community feel. That's something I'm really excited to see. Like you said, having questions from people, but also, being able to be more active in the comment section of a video and being able to like communicate with people, and maybe they will have a question about a point that we made and we could clarify it more or add to it. Or our other idea was potentially at some point down the track, having like personalized consultation or one-on-one with people where we Skype, and maybe they can just pick our brains.
Well, don't give away all the ideas. Mate.
Yeah, sorry.
We do have
that's
some things planned.
Potentially,
But while we're on that, if people are watching and they do have any questions, even if they are about my personal life when I was 11 or whatever.
Or the table tennis story.
If you want to know more about any of this, or you have questions about actual really deep topics, or if you want to just get involved, you know someone that wants to be on the podcast, or you think you have some good ideas to discuss on the podcast, please let us know. We really do want to hear from you and interact with you guys, basically.
Definitely.
That's huge.
That is huge.
I suppose that's a great place to end it.
That is.
So hope you've enjoyed our getting to know us kind of podcast. It was fun for us. A lot of laughs, mostly just like talking crap. But probably should have prefaced it by saying that. But now you're listening to the 30th minute and being like, why did I listen to this?
Why did I waste my time?
But look, we had a few laughs, so it was good fun. Keep listening. We've got a lot of spicy guests coming up.
Definitely. Make sure to follow us on Instagram for some more little skits and little collaborations with people.
And giveaways.
And
got some cool giveaways.
You can listen to us on basically every platform, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, everything. So
yeah, people don't know that. I've had people hit me up being like, where do I find this podcast? And I'm like, mate, it's everywhere.
Like literally if you search
it's everywhere.
You should be able to find it everywhere. So just give it a go. MetaMinds, that's it.
Yeah, thank you. See you later.
Thanks so much for watching.